Today is August 14, 2024, and I'm here at the IMC 12 in Maastricht in the Netherlands. And I have a very interesting candidate for the review, for the interview, and very promising mycologist from Brazil, Jadson Bezerra. So, welcome, and can you explain a little bit or tell where you were born or why you are a mycologist now?
Thank you, Samson. Thank you, Robert, to invite me. Yes, I was born in a small town nearby the beach in Brazil, maybe so far 300 kilometers, but it's near in Brazil. And there I had lots of indigenous people, maybe 5,000 indigenous people that are speaking right now their language, their own language. And I was there working in a primary school with lots of plants and animals during something like the month of the environment, for example, the environmental celebrations, for example, at school. And it was important to decide to help me to decide to go to university. And at university I was working, I did biology and I'm biologist. And at university in Recife, Federal University of Pernambuco on the beach, I got one position in the lab as an undergraduate student with Professor Laura Paiva and also Cristina Mota. And there I was trying to study endophytes at the beginning, and after that I went to do mycology and with professors that were working with Penicillium, Aspergillus fusarium, and other fungi from Brazil and other countries nearby Brazil. And I think was that professors that invited me to go to the lab, and because that I decided to study mycology when I started my job in the lab in November 2007. In November 2007 I started my job in that lab, and because that now I'm working with fungal taxonomy and fungal ecology and checking some biotechnological potential of these endophytes. I think it was because professors like you, Rob, and because other professors that I have here in Netherlands and there in Brazil, that we can become a kind of fungi lover, and we can love fungi and we can love how to study this fungi, and we can also help other students that can also work with fungal species.
Yeah, your name is Bezerra,
yes.
And we know that there are a famous name in Brazil. How are you related to Professor Bezerra?
Yes, Professor Bezerra was my professor in Brazil when I was doing my master degree, and he came to Federal University of Pernambuco, and he was teaching giving class about Ascomycota. And he said, "Why, you have the same name than me?" And I said, "I have no idea. But he is from the same city that my grandmother. Yes, and he is the same city. Maybe we are connected in the past because of the family name." And he is working with mycology since he was working with Augusto Chaves Batista in Recife, Pernambuco, in Brazil. And we connected with one. And several times when he came into Recife to check some herbarium material in the URM herbarium in Recife, I was working with him. And for me it was amazing because I was working with the person that was working with Augusto Chaves Batista, and then he was teaching me lots of information about sexual Ascomycota fungi.
Yeah.
But right now, when we finish this conversation, I'm going to say hi to Professor Bezerra in Brazil.
Okay. Well, it's very nice, and I'm quite impressed that in Brazil there are still a lot of mycologists, really also taxonomists, what I see that in other parts of the world the number of taxonomists is really decreasing. So I hope that Brazil, it was always very strong, because when I did my PhD, I was of course reading all the papers, and even when I did my PhD on Mycology, Bezerra was very important, and therefore I hope that this will still grow, and that you will also be, let's say, also teaching or attracting more people to become fungal taxonomists. Yeah, I know you're working more in Penicillium, Aspergillus, and so. What is your favorite genus?
It's a difficult question for me, because right now I'm working with different genera in Brazil, and normally we have Penicillium, Aspergillus, Fusarium, Cladosporium. Maybe the genus that I like to work, maybe Diaporte. It's very difficult.
Diaporte.
Yes,
okay.
Maybe it's very difficult, but for me, it is challenging to identify some species, and also it's challenging to me to check the morphology, and then I can help me and students and other colleagues to try to identify them. And for me, Diaporte may be, could be my lover genus.
Okay, so you will leave Penicillium aspergillus, which is my favorite genera, but that doesn't matter.
No. I'm not leaving Penicillium aspergillus, because I need also to work with the Penicillium aspergillus, because they are the larger number that we have when we are working with soil and airborne fungi. But when we are working with plants, the largest number is Diaporte. In this case, I was working before with endophytes, and I was doing lots of Diaporte identification as Phomopsis last name. And maybe because that, when I was starting with endophytes, I think Diaporte could be the. Yes, I don't know. Maybe Diaporte, but of course for soil and airborne fungi, Penicillium aspergillus, I can work also.
Tell me a little bit about your facilities. Do you have access for easy access for sequencing? Do you have support from the government to biomedia and so? Because in other countries that's very difficult. How is your situation?
Yes, right now in Brazil we had different politicians last year in Brazil, and right now we have a new president, and that new president is trying to give some more money to university and to the science in Brazil. And for us it's nice, because I'm still a young mycologist, and I need to apply for money to get some money, apply to project to get some money to do this research that we are trying to do there. Right now it's okay to have a facility to sequencing. I can send my samples to another university in Brazil, or we can send to other company outside Brazil. It is okay, and it's not so very expensive there in Brazil. And right now we have lots of Brazilian calls from the government in Brazil that we can send proposals to trying to get money from the government. And for example, right now I think it's one of the most important. The Brazilian government said, if you have one proposal to teach taxonomists, you can send this proposal to us.
Wow.
And you can check your proposal, and you can give scholarship just to teach new taxonomists, undergraduate, really master, PhD, and postdoc position.
So you're going to do this in the near future?
Yes, okay. Next month. Next month, when I will be there in Brazil, I'm going to send this proposal to Brazilian government, asking for money to have scholarship, and also money to buy medium and sequencing. A small amount, but it's okay. And then we can try for 4 years to use this scholarship and money to teach new taxonomists, undergraduate, master, PhD, and postdoc position we are going to have there.
Yeah.
I hope you can get this money and work with new taxonomists.
Well, that's really important, because I know that in many other countries that's almost impossible.
Yeah.
And during the coffee you were telling me you were very interested in fungi in caves. Why is that?
Yes. we are working with caves since maybe 2015, when the Brazilian government said we need help to check which fungi are living in caves, and if you have, of course, pathogen fungi living there. And we were trying to isolate some samples, and the first discovery was something like amazing. We got one new Geosmitia species that you I think were working with Geosmitia, and then we described the first species from a Brazilian cave. And for us was a kind of amazing result, the first one. And after that, we studied the first cave, and right now I think we are studying with Cristina Mota in Recife. We are studying maybe more than 20 caves in Brazil. And this was a big discovery of different fungal genera, maybe 200 fungal genera. We are having these caves around the different biomes in Brazil. In this case was a question from the government. We need help, and we got some funds from the government. And because that, we are going to caves to collect some soil samples, to take some beds, and trying to isolate using cotton and swabs to get some samples from beds, and also airborne fungi and piece of leaves that are also there in caves. And yeah, and it was because that we decided to go to the darkness and try to see what we have there, and try to show to the global mycological community what we have in Brazilian caves, and we need to go there to discover this maybe amazing fungi that we are living there.
So you're isolating thousands of cultures.
Yes.
How is your, let's say, culture collection facility in Brazil? Is it in Rio or Sao Paulo, or is also in Pernambuco?
Yes, in Brazil we don't have a national culture collection.
I know, therefore I'm asking you.
Yeah, and we have one collection that I'm trying to have one new collection in my place that I'm living right now in the middle of Brazil, in the Cerrado biome. And there we are keeping the fungi in a personal or working collection. And from that collection that I'm working right now, I can send samples to Recife, because there we have one collection working since 1954, when Batista was working there. And also I'm sending some samples to other collections in Brazil, like in São Paulo and Minas Gerais. But we are trying to have one collection from the fungi, endophytes fungi and caves fungi from the Cerrado biome in Brazil in my place, that maybe soon we'll have a kind of biobank there. But this biobank has just bacteria and some other microorganisms, but I don't remember the name. I think I don't remember, but they don't have fungi isolates there. And this working collection will be placed also in that biobank. And also I'm going to send some samples to other collections in Brazil.
You're going to send this in Brazil, but you know there is this rule that you cannot send it to other countries. How can you help other taxonomists with type strains and so on?
Yes, right now you have new Brazilian rules because... Oh,
you have? Okay.
Yes, we have new Brazilian rules because that. Now they are changing some of these rules, and we can send some samples to other countries. Like, for example, I can send samples to Netherlands, and they can keep it here in CBS collection, at CBS collection, for example. But we need some documents that we can fill and sign together. But it is okay right now because the Brazilian government is organizing one new system to asking that permission. And I hope next year it will be easier than right now, and we can send and we can share some information about DNA sequence also, and also about the strains and the isolates that we are getting there.
Well, this is a very big improvement, because you know, taxonomic research, particularly when you're doing type strain And so there must be an exchange, and
Yeah.
I'm very happy that this is
Yeah.
coming.
Right now you can use MTA.
In MTA, yeah.
Yes, and we can, but between two collections, one Brazilian collection and
a Dutch.
another foreign collection, and we can share some samples. But
Yeah, yeah.
MTA is sometimes very restrictive, and the foreign collection say no, we don't like it because we have some restriction here. But that time is what we have. But maybe next year we are going to have new rules, and of course the MTA will be mandatory, of course, because the Brazilian government wants to protect the Brazilian biodiversity, because you had lots of problems before, and because that the rules right now are very restrictive. But they are going to be maybe easier, a little bit easier from Brazilians and foreign people. Maybe you can minimize some problems that you are having right now. I hope so.
Well, this was a very interesting talk. I think you want to say hello to somebody.
Yes, I want to say hello to... Maybe I want to say hello to all the young mycologists, because I'm here as still young mycologist. I don't know if in the future I will be also here, not as young mycologist anymore, but I hope to be in another IMC and another conference studying mycology with several people. But I also want to say in Portuguese, obrigado, and thank you for my family and professor that I have. But to say to young mycologists, please keep loving fungi, because they are amazing. We need to study them, and also they can make several difference for the world. And if we don't have fungi species, and if you don't have taxonomies, if you don't have people study the biotechnological potential of fungal species, we don't have present, and of course we don't have the future of us. In this case, I'm going to say yes, please keep studying fungi. They are important for us, and they can change what we want to use them to change some problems or to improve some good things that we have.
Yeah, just talking to you, I remember I did all the IMCs. My first IMC was in Exeter. I was, I think, the same age as you. And then I went to Tampa and so on. And during all this time, I learned, but I also established an extreme big network of almost friends in mycology. And this helps you in your career. So I'm very happy that you already have a good network. So just make it bigger and seek the help from international professors and students and so on. So it was a great pleasure. Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you very much. Dank je wel.